I decided to retire immediately when I realized I had these 5 things. I'm Tom Harper, 58 years old, from Columbus, Ohio, with a head of graying hair and a closet full of dress shirts I swear I'll never iron again. For the past 32 years, I've been a financial advisor, helping clients map out their futures while racing against the ticking clock of my own life. The job's been good to me, paid for my 2 boys Ethan and Luke to go to college, cleared the mortgage on our little brick house with the white picket fence Diane loves, and let us sock away a solid nest egg. But last year I started waking up with this tight knot in my chest, like life was slipping through my fingers. I'd watch Diane, still as radiant as she was when we met in '89, brewing coffee in our sunlit kitchen, and think, Tom, what the hell are you waiting for? One cool fall morning, I laced up my worn sneakers, took a long walk around our quiet neighborhood, the crunch of leaves underfoot, and let my mind wander. That walk changed me. This is my story, why I decided to retire as soon as I could, and the lessons I learned along the way. If you're wondering whether it's time to let go, sit back, hear me out, and maybe you'll find your answer. The first thing that hit me was my health, or rather how it's been slipping away. In my 20s, I was the guy who could work all day, then hit the basketball court with buddies, sinking 3-pointers before heading home. Now, my lower back aches every morning, my knees creak like an old door, and my doctor keeps harping on my concerning cholesterol levels. I've got these tension headaches that flare up when I'm glued to a screen too long, trying to please a tough client or fix a report at midnight. I didn't see the stress piling up. Urgent calls, tight deadlines, emails flooding in like a storm. I tell myself, come on Tom, you've done this forever. It's no big deal. But one night, Diane caught me rubbing my shoulder, wincing, and she took my hand saying, you don't have to keep doing this, Tom. I want us to grow old together, not watch you burn out. That was a wake-up call. I want to live long enough to toss a football with my grandkids, to stroll through the park with Diane in the fall, not be tied to meds or a recliner. Retiring early for me is a chance to take back my body, morning walks, healthy home-cooked meals, maybe even that yoga class Diane keeps nudging me toward. If your body's sending you signals, don't ignore them. Listen, because health is something you can't buy back. Then I thought about time, the one thing you can't save up no matter how hard you try. As a financial advisor, I'm good at saving, maxing out the 401k, investing wisely, making sure Diane and I have a safety net. But while I was building that nest egg, time was quietly disappearing. I keep an old wooden box in the living room filled with family photos. Every time I open it, seeing Ethan and Luke in their little league uniforms, grinning with gap-toothed smiles, my heart aches. I missed so many of their games, so many nights we could have spent eating pizza and playing Monopoly, all because I was too busy closing deals or meeting clients. Now they're grown with families of their own. Ethan's got a 3-year-old daughter, Lucy, who loves scribbling on walls, and Luke's got a boy who's obsessed with soccer. I want to be a real grandpa, not just a voice on the phone. Diane and I have dreams, renting an RV to chase the fall colors in Maine, or just sitting on the back porch sipping coffee and swapping old stories. But time doesn't wait. I think of my friend George, who worked until 68 to be safe, then had a stroke before he could take that cruise he'd booked. That haunts me. I don't want to trade another decade for more money when what I need is moments with Diane, with my kids and grandkids. If you're counting days but forgetting to live, ask yourself, are you letting time slip away? For me, retiring early is about reclaiming time, and I'm not wasting another second. The people I love were a huge part of this decision. My dad's 84, living in an assisted living facility 20 minutes away. Every time I visit, he tells stories about fishing trips we took at Lake Erie when I was a kid, and his smile reminds me how much those moments mean. But I'm lucky to get there a couple of times a month. Work always gets in the way. Ethan and Luke keep inviting me over. Lucy loves when I read her bedtime stories, and Luke's boy wants to show off his new soccer moves. Then there's my bowling crew, guys I've known since high school, who tease, Tom, retire already, we need someone to lose at beer bets. I laugh, but it stinks. Work's been stealing time from the people who matter most. Diane, God, she deserves more than a husband who's always exhausted, collapsing on the couch after a long day. I want to take her dancing or just sit together on the backyard bench, listening to birds chirp. Retiring early for me is a chance to make up for lost time, to be a better son, a fun grandpa, a reliable friend. If you feel like you're drifting from family or friends, stop and think. How much are those relationships worth compared to your job? For me, they're worth everything. Work also made me lose touch with what used to light me up. When I was younger, I loved fixing old radios, sitting in the garage tinkering with screws until they crackled with smooth jazz. Now the garage is dusty and my last radio project's been sitting there for a decade. Diane's been nudging me to join her gardening club, saying planting flowers would calm me down, but I always said I was too busy. I've been learning Spanish on an app, but I only get a few minutes a week because work eats everything else. We dream of traveling, an RV trip through the Smoky Mountains or a few weeks in Oaxaca to practice Spanish and eat authentic tacos. But I know travel isn't the whole answer. I've seen clients come back from long trips, worn out, saying it's not as great as they thought. I don't want to just travel for the sake of it, I want balance. A few weeks on the road, then home to fix radios, plant veggies, or try baking bread with Diane. Retiring early gives me the freedom to rediscover the old Tom, the guy who got a kick out of a perfectly tuned antenna or the smell of wet earth after rain. If you've got hobbies gathering dust, ask yourself, do you want to spend time bringing them back to life? I do, and that's a big reason I'm stepping away. Money, of course, was the toughest hurdle and the one that kept me up at night. As a financial advisor, I've helped dozens of people plan their retirements, but doing it for myself? That's another story. Diane and I have a good chunk saved, the house is paid off, and Social Security's around the corner. But I kept getting stuck on what ifs. What if we run short? What if the market tanks? I had a goal, let's say $1 million, and we're at about 92%. I could work a few more years to hit 100%, but then what? I'd be 61, maybe less healthy, with fewer years to enjoy it. One night, Diane and I sat at the kitchen table, Excel spreadsheets sprawled out, coffee going cold. We crunched numbers, trimmed a few things, fewer dinners out, no new car, maybe sell the old fishing boat. The result? We're good. Not beach mansion good, but enough to live comfortably, travel a few times a year, and have a cushion. I've seen too many clients fall into the one more year trap, what I call a migma. One more year, gotta make it all. They work extra, stress extra, and sometimes lose a year of their life. I'm not doing that. Close enough is good enough. Retiring early means trusting we'll make it work, living a bit leaner if needed, and that living now matters more than a round number. If you're worried about money, my advice is, sit down, run the numbers, and be honest. You might need less than you think. When all these thoughts came together, health, time, family, passions, money, the decision felt clear. Last month I submitted my resignation. In a few weeks I'm free. Diane's already planning our first RV trip, and I've dusted off that old radio in the garage. I feel like I've shrugged off a heavy coat, replaced with a lightness and excitement I haven't felt in years. Last night we sat on the porch, stargazing, and Diane said, "Tom, I haven't seen you this happy in forever." She's right. I'm not saying retiring early is easy. It's scary, especially with money and those what-ifs. But it's worth it. If you're on the fence, here's my advice. Take a walk, let your mind breathe, and ask yourself, how's your health? Are you missing your family? What do you miss about yourself? Do you have enough money? If the answers make your heart race, act. Don't wait for one more year. Life's too short and you deserve to live it now. For me, the next chapter started and I can't wait to see where it leads. Start your chapter and don't be afraid. If my stories got you thinking about your own retirement, don't just sit there wondering, take the first step. Subscribe to Stories for Retired for more real, heartfelt stories and practical tips to help you decide if it's time to retire early. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's holding you back from making the leap, or what dreams are you ready to chase? Hit that like button if my journey resonated with you, and share this video with anyone who needs a nudge toward their next chapter. Let's keep the conversation going. Join our community at Stories for Retired and start living the life you deserve.